by kind of what you guys went over, and I think a lot of your offense is talking about red zone. Just
Sure.
what can they do to produce more points in there?
I think it really the bye week was a great time to go back and reflect and kind of do some self-scout work, see where we were doing good things, see where we needed to improve, and obviously the red zone's a big one there in the last few weeks. The red zone for us is more about the detail and what we're doing, where we're supposed to be, and the spots we're supposed to be in. It's more about the execution. I think we just got to be tighter with where we are. If it's a zone concept, we need to be spaced properly. And a couple of those times in that game, we were not. So that was our point of emphasis there. But the bye week's always great. It's a little better when it's in the middle of the season. But it came at a good time for us. I know the guys needed a break, but it gave us a chance to go back and look at where we've made improvements, and we have.
Is there one thing that Drake needs to focus on moving forward these last 4 games of the season to be able to finish strong? I know a couple of weeks ago we talked about cutting down turnovers.
Sure.
But is there something else that you can
I think for him it's just that continued growth. I think he's trending in the right direction. I thought he played his best game last week. It's all the little things. He needs to improve in every area. Play action pass, keepers, carrying out his fakes on the run game, all those things. So there's a lot of stuff he still needs to work on, but I think he's improving each week.
What have you learned about him as a student, as you teach him? How do you best convey information? How does he best learn?
Man, he's very communicative, especially in the meeting rooms. He asks great questions. We go back and look at a lot of things. So say, go back to that clip a few minutes ago. So he definitely asked the questions. He wants them to get answered. He's very intelligent, very bright. I think he sees the field very well, understands how teams are trying to attack him and play him. I think, that's a definite strength of his, but he's very good in the meeting room as far as his communication.
Can a receiver be top field, or is that one of those things that they just sort of, say Hunter Henry just has the innate, he knows where the space is,
Sure.
He just finds the hole?
I think you can definitely grow as a receiver, grow at every position. He just has a knack of being able to wiggle himself into openings. Some receivers have that, including tight ends, and some guys, they just don't have that innate ability. We're fortunate we have some guys that do. I think he and Hooper are playing at a high level right now for us. That's an area of strength for us, is that tight end position.
Alex, I know we've talked to you about, or asked you a lot about Jalen Holt this season,
Mm-hmm.
but still lack of production at this point. What do you think has led to that? Led to either the lack of production or the struggle so far?
Could be a combination of a few things. It's the transition from the college game to the pro game is never easy for any rookie. That's part of it. And I think the rookie wall, not having success early, having some drops early, kind of set him back a little bit mentally. All lessons for him to fight through and keep pushing. Like I said earlier, like last week, I think he's going to be a very good player for us. He says continue to work and continue to improve each week.
Coach, we know that you want to get these young guys more involved to see what you got on the roster, but how do you balance, whatever you have to prove in practice versus still wanting to be able to see those reps in a live game?
At some point they're just going to have to go in and make those plays in the game. You see it in practice, and hopefully it carries over to the game. But every snap they take, whether it's in practice or in the game, is going to just put it in that bank for them, and I continued growth as we talk about every day. Getting better with every practice, and hopefully it carries over to the game for those young guys.
Alex, in the process of self-scouting, A, how often do you learn something brand new about your team that you've been working on with every single day? And B, what, if anything, new did you learn in the past week in this reflection?
That's a good question. You learn a ton. You see stuff that, oh my God, we're better than that, and I thought we were. Maybe we should run more of that style of scheme. That's one of the things you can take away from it for sure. But again, self-scout's always, it's great at the end of the year. You go back, and the one things I've found about self-scout is you often make notes in the off season, especially when you're doing your self-scout, and then you'll go back and you'll see times where you'll repeat those mistakes. So a lot of it's just making sure that you stay pure and true to your self-scout in the off season. I've come up many times over the years and gone, hey, wait a minute, I thought 2 years ago we said we didn't want to do that anymore. So it's just making sure that you're clean and trying to put your guys in the best position.
Alex, in your mind, what separates a good quarterback from a great quarterback? Is it just talent, or is there something more, that makes somebody good great?
Yeah, no, there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. I think the greatness comes with the detail. I think the processing, for me, the great quarterbacks are the fastest processors. They can see the field, they can understand the issues, they can see the space in the field and process that quickly. And then the other part, the piece that I've always found with the great quarterbacks is the competitiveness. Everyone I've been around, from Montana to Kelly, They want to kick your butt in darts or rock, paper, scissors. It doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers, same way. So it's that ability to process. Obviously, you have to have the skill set, and then it's that competitive nature.
Is there an internal component, drive, will, something like that? Does that go into it as well?
Definitely, and I think that's part of that competitive nature. Those guys don't ever want to be wrong. They don't. They always want to win, and that's that drive and that will I think you're talking on.
It's early, but are you seeing some of those qualities in Drake?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do. I see the processing piece for sure. I think as he gets, more comfortable as a leader, you'll see that take over as well. He is ultra competitive. Just the chirping that goes back and forth between the quarterbacks and our QB drills is awesome. A lot of those qualities are there with Drake.
You also mentioned this week that he did take some snaps from Cole Strange at center.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from that, from Cole coming back and also him?
Yeah, great to have Cole back. Worked his butt off to get back. He's getting more reps in practice. Not sure at what point we'll see him in there with the group, but really happy that he's back. And again, it's just that comfort level that Drake will have. Getting under center with Cole, just got to get a ton of snaps.
When it comes to working him back, it's not like you talked a little bit about this yesterday. It's not like working back like a running back or a wide receiver or something. How can you balance maybe the continuity along the offensive line with kind of getting him some game action?
Sure, I think we're going to have to. I think we need to see him at some point playing. Not sure what position yet, but I think as he gets more comfortable with the verbiage, with the scheme, with the technique, that we'll need to see him at some point.
How important is it for, same with Caden Wallace, a rookie for 4 games left, how important is it for you to see what he can do, especially when it comes to figuring out where he fits in for the future?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hopefully we can, find a spot for him at some point at the end of the season as it comes down. But again, with these young guys, and, really Cole's a young guy too, we need to see what these guys can do. And that's been our theme throughout the course of the year, is getting our young guys some more experience and see where we are with them.
Alex, going back to Drake for a second, how early in the draft process were you just sold on him from those standpoints of processing and competitiveness?
Really, I think I was on the hook whenever we had our meeting down there in Chapel Hill, where he really just stood up and took all the bullets for a bad game that he played. I think I told you guys we watched the NC State game where he played poorly. To me, that was the one. I think this guy is holding himself accountable, not placing any blame on teammates or scheme or any of that. That to me was the big piece. There were some quizzes that went on where he missed one, and it kind of haunted him. So the next time we got back together, he kept bringing up that one formation that beat him in the quiz. So that's the competitive nature that comes out that you like to see.
Alex, when it comes to Ramondre Stevenson, I'm just wondering, how you see his play this season. You kind of evaluated him, and specifically with some of the zone runs that you guys have in. Just how do you feel like he's seen those from a vision standpoint?
Yeah, it's every back's going to miss a cut here or there. I think he probably has one in a game where maybe he could have put it here. And again, I've never run the football from back there, so I couldn't tell you 100%. But he's a hard runner. He does it the right way. He plays the game we like the way to be played. The big thing for him is just focusing on ball security. To me, is the biggest piece. We put one on the ground. Yeah, false start. Yeah.
I'm curious, as a play caller, if there's a philosophy where you have sudden change, so the defense turns the ball over to you. Mm-hmm. Is there something to be said for, I'm going to get aggressive here and take a shot and work it outside?
Absolutely. I think it's how the game's going. I think what's the score of the game? How are you playing offensively? Are you up 7 and you can go up 14 by taking a shot? Are you running the ball well? Do you just stick with what's going offensively? I think but definitely we need to take advantage of those opportunities when we do get turnovers from our defense. We need to play complementary football and try. Definitely score touchdowns after that. Disappointing that we didn't last week. But, there's some different philosophies to go with there. It depends on where you get the ball as well. If it's a turnover and you're backed up, you're not going to be as aggressive. It's a turnover in the high red area, maybe you take a shot. So it changes with field position as well. But we definitely need to think more. We need to punch it in when our defense gives us the ball.
Antonio Gibson's been really good for you guys in the limited sample size. What have you seen from him lately that's allowed him to have that success, and could we potentially see more of him down the road?
Yeah, hard runner. He's big-bodied. He runs hard, hits the hole quickly. Good contact balance, can break tackles. Very similar to Ramondre. I think they're very similar backs, and that gives those guys a chance to stay fresh and give give Gibson this series, let Mondre take the next series. I think that gives us some flexibility there, but have been happy with the way both the backs ran the ball, especially last week. Thank you, guys. See you.